Welcome to Focused Fire Chat. Explore together.
Welcome to the 5th behind-the-scenes episode of Focus Fire Chat, and the first behind-the-scenes episode that we're actually live streaming. This is your host, Blue Crew 86. Joining me for tonight's live streamed episode, we have Justin Sane 0516. Justin, how's it going for you tonight?
It's live. It's live. It's real. What do you know?
Well, and I was also able to convince Green to leave the mind maps alone for a bit. Green, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm just kind of trolling through our guest Twitter right now, looking at all the beautiful green exo heads.
Yes.
So, but you're alive?
Yeah,
Okay,
so far.
Okay, cool, good.
Please stay that way.
Yeah.
Yep.
We also have with us someone that many know here in the Destiny community, lazesummerstone. Well, I'm just going to call you Jake because that's just easier for me.
Yeah, that works too. That works.
So Jake, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm still kind of getting over all the hype of coming back from the live reveal, and yeah, still pretty hyped about that.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I imagine we will probably be talking a little bit about that.
Cool.
Just in case someone out there doesn't already know, can you let us know where everyone can find you?
Yeah, I'm just the same name, lazesummerstone on Twitter, and then also I have a webcomic that is maybe of people's interest if you are interested in Destiny, called Watermelon Exo, and that's just at watermelonexo.com, and that's probably all you need to know. And there's like links to different, like I have a store up and various other links.
So we'll definitely be getting those links into the show notes.
Yeah, it's mostly the comic and the Twitter where you can find what's like new with me. And
the comic's definitely worth looking at, as Green might get distracted. Green, you still with me?
I'm reading. These are good.
All right.
TSA security check.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm doing kind of like a special thing where I was meaning to cover my whole trip down to see the live event, because I got invited over. So it kind of from like Wednesday to Thursday, I wanted to cover the whole thing hour by hour and like what actually happened to me. And so all of it's pretty much real. But that's not the usual format of the comic. Usually it's just like one page, just like funny comics about Destiny, and usually inspired by like things that I see playing the game.
Nice. All right, well, let's run through the intro real quick, and then I'm going to actually hand the controls to you, Jake, to kind of give us a run through of how everything kind of got started with you. Is everyone okay with that one?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, he's the expert.
As many of you already know, Focus Fire Chat is a cross-community gathering where the intent is to offer a week-long, in-depth view of a particular subject from within the lore of Destiny and other games. This chat begins every Tuesday morning and runs until the following Tuesday, with topics decided by the group via a poll that begins every Friday and ends on the Tuesday morning of the new chat. The Behind the Scenes series is a way for us to step out of the world of game lore and talk about other aspects of the community that we're so proud to be a part of. It also allows us a chance to sit down and really get to chat with well-versed individuals from within that aspect of the community, giving us a chance to really explore the topic. Please be sure to also give some support to the other podcasts in the Guardian Radio Network found at theguardiansofdestiny.com. These include Guardian Radio, the official podcast for the Guardians of Destiny, Guardian 1, Ghost and Echoes, which also has the Destiny audio grimoire, and the network's newest edition, a non-Destiny focused podcast, Paragon Radio. This chat is going to be discussing the often mysterious process of creating artwork, with a focus on comics and video game concept work. With that all being said, I'm going to let Jake give us a bit of an introduction into how he does the magic that he does. Jake?
yeah, my name's Jake Myler, and I've been working in comics for like 15 years or so. And
Really?
then I've been also doing like I've been doing background designs for video games actually for like 10 years. But it's so I'm living up here in Seattle, and I've just been doing this for a long time.
So,
but then what?
no, so like 15 years.
Yeah.
When did you get started?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that time that I'm including in those 15 years was like struggling to get started in comics. Like a lot of it, I used to live down in LA with my wife, and we were just like in a tiny, tiny house in Burbank, and like basically like I was just trying to get any comic jobs that I could get. That took a while to kind of kind of get started, but then things started taking off.
Well, then, like, so going back just a little bit further, you know, one of the most common questions that we always hear whenever we do the behind the scenes is how did you get started? Like, did you go to school for the art, or did you go to, some people that we've talked to, they went to school for one thing and then kind of stumbled into what they do now. What about you? Did you start off kind of knowing, hey, I'm going to do, I don't even know what this would be called, but technically the comic book, concept art comic type thing?
Yeah. I feel like I kind of stumbled into everything that I was doing, but
best way to find stuff. Best way.
You just kind of have to like leave all your options open and just go with whatever comes. but yeah, I originally like I have a degree in animation from a college down in Burbank, and then I got the degree, and then for some reason we decided, let's move to Vegas. Like, I think I was doing it kind of because like I was too scared to, just apply to an animation company. It seemed like too daunting to me. And also I kind of wanted to, there was like these things back in 2002 or 3, there were like these contests going on that were being held by this company called Tokyo Pop that used to exist.
Yeah.
And it was like, and they would run these contests to like create your own manga, and you'll, if you win, you'll be in this like comic anthology. And then you might get a contract to like work on an actual comic with them, whole manga. And so like, I was like, oh yeah, maybe this is what I want to do. I'll just get like a menial job and kind of just apply to this contest. And I think I applied like 3 times or something and never won once. Yeah, so that didn't work out. But at the same time, I don't think it's like wasted time, because like I still practiced, and making a comic, even like a 20-page comic, that's a lot of drawings. Yeah.
Now, were those comics, like, I know with manga, it's for those who aren't obvious or aren't aware, a normal comic book here in the States is read like we read normal books here.
Yeah.
Whereas the mangas, usually most mangas are
in the opposite
direction, right? And it's completely opposite. It's instead of right to left, it's almost left to right, I believe, isn't it? Trying to remember. It's been a while since I've had to read a manga.
No, it's right to left.
Yeah, you are correct.
Yeah.
I bought my son a Naruto book, and I took it back because it was broken. It was, and I demanded that they give us a good one.
You screwed up, guys.
Oh crap!
But and these are they were like they're black and white instead of color, and usually like screen tone for grays and stuff. Just different shades of gray, and they're also like usually that's kind of the storytelling is a little different too. It's more
right. Well, I mean, it's slow. Just like it's more it's more like I don't want to say it's more dramatic, but it's more drawn out. It seems with mangas.
The way that I always thought of it was like American comics kind of like they kind of tell you what's happening through words, and like there'll be less pictures, more words, and then like manga kind of like shows you what's happening through actions, less words and more. That's why it's like you'll get like a 300-page book, and sometimes like barely anything will actually occur in the book. But
Dragon Ball Z.
It's like almost watching.
It's like a lot of screaming.
Yeah,
it's like a set of storyboards for a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it feels sometimes it really feels like you're watching a movie. Like if you ever read like there's a guy Katsuhiro Otomo. He's like the guy who made Akira. Basically.
Oh yeah.
But if you read one of his comics, it is exactly like watching a movie. It's so crazy. And
so
you kind of
do you carry? Did you? I mean, I'm just curious as to like the evolution of that style into the style that you have. Watermelon XO, for example. How did that kind of evolve for you? How did you take that? Because I know you said you've also done some background work for video games, like concept art work. Like how did that all kind of meander?
Yeah, it really did meander. It was like, so should I just tell the rest of the story?
Yeah, go for it. Go for
it. So I went to I was trying to get a job through that contest, and then we were like, Vegas is hot. This is not working out. I think we wanted to go back to LA, and we had some friends in LA too that we kept visiting them. Because we're actually trying to sell shirts at conventions and stuff. So we made like a little mini company with some friends in LA, and we kept going back and forth. And we're like, let's just move back to LA. And so in LA, as I tell this, I'm like, I realize this is going to take a long time.
We got it.
It's okay.
We're fine.
Okay. Back in LA, I just I decided I'm going to apply to every Craigslist ad that has anything to do with art, and any like comic book ad that has any Craigslist ad that has to do with comics. And so I just kept applying and applying. Like I think I got one job that was like, it was for an advertising company or something, and I got another job for like where's like a really crappy movie company that like wanted to pitch. They thought the way to get into the movie biz was to make a comic and then pitch that comic as a movie. So I did that. So I was just I was doing that all like with a tablet on computer, kind of developing like my skills like with a computer and coloring. But these jobs were weird. Like one time I got paid completely in Monster Energy drinks.
I saw that.
That is awesome.
I saw that in there.
Yeah.
I was like,
no, but it wasn't just I think because I was charging them like $1,000. No, it was like $200 a page or something. And then they were like, we can't pay you for this. So they basically gave me like $400 worth of Monster Energy, which it's actually a lot. It's like more than you can purchase.
That's insane.
And I had like a little mini fridge, and it was just like completely filled with Monster Energy drinks. And
I don't even need $10 worth of that though.
We're also like extremely poor. So like I don't have any. We would like be buying our water because we didn't trust LA water system out of the tap, and we lived in a really crappy place. So it was like, I don't have anything to drink. I'll just drink this Monster Energy drink. I got thirsty.
Like 9:00 at night.
Yeah.
Jake didn't sleep much.
I might have formed a little of an addiction or something. I don't think my body produces the right chemicals anymore. Like,
you're not quite human anymore.
Mm-mm.
That's okay.
But yeah, it was crazy. But then the weird thing is, through that, I actually got a job. I got a job from a writer who was looking for an artist through Craigslist, and then it happened to be to work on a comic for Tokyo Pop.
Oh wow!
Where which was the company I was trying to apply to in those contests. And then that writer turned out to be crazy. So that fell through because he was like, I know the biz. Like he was like a big movie guy, I guess. And he was like, I know the business. I'm gonna get us the highest rates. And like he kept like returning the contract, thinking he could get more money, and that does not fly. Like they just dropped him.
Dang.
But the upside of that, I was doing a lot of like concept work and stuff. And then one of the editors there was like, when another project came along, he was like, oh, well, I saw this artist. Maybe we can use him. It was me. And they called me up. And then that's how I got my first big like graphic novel project.
Nice.
Was through that weird circuitous route. And then that led like, and a graphic novel like takes like a year, for me at least. It takes a while. And I ended up doing 2 graphic novels for Tokyo Pop, and then Tokyo Pop like actually went under at a certain point.
Yeah.
But then like all those editors left, but then they joined other companies like Boom Studios, which is they do like actual legitimate comics that in America and do like comics for kids and stuff. And they had seen like the comic I made for Tokyo Pop was kind of like a younger person's comic. It was about like a young protagonist with like a teddy bear that came to life and was very like whimsical and stuff. And so he was like, oh, maybe you'd be good at Fraggle Rock. And so I started working on Fraggle Rock comics, and that led into me doing like a lot of like covers for different comics. And I was like doing covers for like different Disney comics and Chip and Dale and Rescue Rangers and
Nice.
different things. And it just kind of evolved, and like it was cool because like if you just do your work and get it done like on time and stuff, you start getting like a reputation. Like like you'll actually not drop the ball, and then you'll kind of get known by other editors, and they'll want to use you for different projects and stuff. Yeah,
Who
so
you know.
yeah. So that's kind of how I like went from having like more of manga style and to just having like an all around, I don't know, just a more multi-purpose style, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, well, and it's cool too, because like, I'm sure that the influences, you would call it the influences of like the style that manga brings, or that it focuses on, probably gives you a bit of a unique edge when you are doing your artwork, that you do today, especially with like, the watermelon. Well, okay. So like Watermelon XO, right?
Yeah.
What's the story behind Watermelon XO? I know a lot of people who will be listening to this know you through Watermelon XO. So how did that all get started?
Well, that was interesting. It was like another instance where it started off small, and I was playing Destiny, and actually the person who got me to play Destiny was my wife, because she saw that first ad, the first live action trailer, and she thought that the warlock's like teleportation ability that's shown in there looked really badass. So she was like, oh God. She got it first. And then I made a character and was like, oh, you can make robots character in this. Like, that really blew me away that they let you have a robot character. It's very intriguing, and I just liked how it looked. Like, I think Bungie did a really good job with the whole EXO customization and stuff. So that makes me really interested to know what they're gonna do for customization for D2.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But for Watermelon XO, I just kind of like started off just like I was drawing a few idle like fan art pictures of my character, and then I got kind of a good response. Like people are like, "Oh, this is cool," and then I was like, "Oh, I'll do like one, just a little short comic," because I guess it was kind of like a commentary on like how when you start the game, it just makes no sense at all. Like
It's
you're
so
like
great.
yeah, you're like, what is this? Why do I suddenly have clothes? How do I like nothing? Like even now, it kind of doesn't. It's not all pieced together. Even though I've been
to be honest,
What's the plot of this game?
one of my favorite animations of Destiny, like from year one, was there was this. I can't even remember who did it, but it was so perfect. There's a little 8-bit side scroller animation, and the ghost is like doo, 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 and it resurrects one person, or I think it's like a warlock or something, and it's like, wait, who are you? What are we doing? Where are we? And it like shocks it and kills it, and then goes over.
Way too many questions.
You have to find that. You have to find the guardian that asks no questions. Just goes along with it.
Yeah. So I have a question about watermelon. So it's hard. First of all, this isn't a question. This is just a statement. It's hard for me to imagine you doing manga. Just the color palette in Moss Creek Divide and Watermelon XO are freaking awesome, and they are not muted at all.
Yeah.
Especially watermelon.
I love it. Well, yeah, and I guess I'm not super art savvy, but the brush selection, from what I can see, everything looks like, especially in that first Watermelon XO scene, like really kind of like soft brushes, and it looks kind of a lot of kind of granular looking shading.
Yeah. I think I was like, oh yeah.
I was just gonna say even the style like that it's drawn in lends itself to being comical, which that's like the first step for me. I think it's funny, just his face, before I even read any of the dialogue.
Well, not only that, I mean, you have very serious moments. I just flipped to a comic that looks much more serious, and you've got a lot more dramatic shading and a lot more depth.
Yeah.
It's not as comical looking. And I mean, there's a wide variety throughout the comic.
So I guess my question is this kind of a style you developed over time, or did you stumble upon this when you were doing this one?
Yeah, I think it is kind of like I had my other comic, my other webcomic, Moss Creek Divide, but I wanted to do a comic that had a completely different style. So I just I decided, I'm going to do this one where it's like more painted. It's not like there's no black lines or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other comic, I start off pencils, then I'd go to inks, or just do the black inks, and then I color on top of that. And in this one, I just like take a panel and just go from background. I just go from background to characters, complete everything that's in that panel, all in one go, basically. So it's kind of like it's a little mini painting. But I kind of developed that style like doing Fraggle Rock, basically. Okay. Because it was another thing where it's like Fraggle Rock it's a live action show. It's puppets, but it's like and that was kind of the way I interpreted it.
It's an amazing show.
So what I'm getting from this is you are a doozer.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite part of the process when it comes to designing a comic? Is it the penciling, or is it the coloring, painting, or is it just all of it wrapped up in one?
I mean, I guess favorite part is I guess my favorite part is coloring it, because that's when I feel like everything comes together finally, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's like my favorite part is actually finishing it and having it be
I'm
done.
Yeah. I can sympathize.
That's kind of a cop-out answer, though. But
no, I mean, I can totally see that, because it gets kind of meditative and you're very deliberate, and it looks like there's so many different layers you go through. Because I see you have your background layer, then you have your mid layer going on and then just multiple layers on top of that. It's fascinating to me to know that people on a computer can do this pretty seamlessly anymore.
Yeah, it is like kind of a struggle still. Like even like I've been trying to do Twitch streams of drawing.
Yeah, those are really good, by the way.
But it's like that Arc Strider is amazing.
Yes.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I just posted that today. But it's like when I was even doing that one, like people are talking to me and stuff, and then I was like, I have to like try to ignore what they're saying because like when you're first laying out that initial design or something, that's the part that takes the most stressful thinking. Like okay, where's the arm gonna go? Oh, this hand looks so crappy. And like you're trying to like adjust all these little things, and that part is not relaxing at all.
Drawing while live streaming, just like to me that sounds like two completely separate worlds.
Some people can really do it. Like and like be talking to the crowd at the same time, and I'm like, how do you do this?
Yeah, and also you're drawing
they have two brains in their head. That's how.
Yeah, you're drawing a character you've probably seen all of 10 times.
Yeah, and so that's why so far all of my live streams have been kind of like I just put music on, but I don't have a microphone. Just I'll be drawing and I'll just draw, and then when I see a question, I'll just answer it in chat and then go back to drawing.
I think that's smart for that kind of process, though.
Yeah. Some people have like the whole webcam on them. I don't know if that makes sense on their face because it's just someone looking down the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. That concentration is slipping a little bit on his face.
That's what they want to see.
I've done some time-lapse stuff. You should try this. I've done some time-lapse videos of me working in Photoshop, and they're hilarious. Like they're just my eyebrows and just everything's just going all over.
Of your face. Okay.
Yeah. But
stiff arming children,
Yes, stiff arming children out of the room because my son walks in behind me with no shirt on, and I like bring him to me and give him a hug and say, "Hey, buddy, go in the other room," and then I can just kind of like playfully kind of like pat him on the back as he leaves. But because it's sped up 700%, it looks like I Hadouken him out of the room. I started getting Twitter comments that were like, is he in the street? Is he okay?
That's hilarious.
Wow.
It was the best part.
But no, I was just going to say, so you're actually using, especially when you do Watermelon Exo, because it's all done on the computer, right? As opposed to, so you're using a Wacom tablet or something like that?
Yeah, I have a big Cintiq screen.
Okay. That's one of the big touch screens, right?
Yeah, it's not well, mine's not touchscreen but that might just because it's old. It's an old version of it. But yeah, it's like you have a pen, you basically draw directly on the screen. It's kind of like, I think it's the most worthwhile purchase I've ever made, like for my job.
Mm-hmm.
So is it a vertical screen or is it does it lay horizontal? How does that?
Yeah, it lays. Yeah, it has a little little trigger in the back that I can make it so it can stand up or lay flat.
Okay.
Or any angle in between.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome.
And the pen actually responds to pressure, I think, correct?
Yeah, it has all the layers of pressure, and it has if you turn it around, it has an erase function on the back.
No way!
Oh man,
that's great.
And it has all little hotkeys on the side and stuff. Sliders in the back. It's very cool. Like, if you do anything especially if you do any painting in Photoshop or even ZBrush, 3D work, those guys use these kind of screens a lot.
Nice.
Worthwhile.
So, do you still do physical medium though, or do you pretty much stick to digital now?
I have. Yeah, it's like I do physical media, but I am quickly getting away from it, which I kind of feel bad about. But it's like I have, like my Moss Creek Divide comic. I was inking and penciling every page like by hand on a big sheet of paper and then scanning it. But then I like just found that like, oh, I can just do this on the screen and not waste a piece of paper and not have to scan it. It's already in there, and it looks. I can't tell if there's any difference. So yeah,
the technology that's come up with it within even the last 10 years, as far as the digital painting and the tablets and stuff like that. I remember seeing like original tablets from 10, 15 years ago, and it was just like drawing with a piece of charcoal, essentially. I mean, there was no sensitivity. It was just a pain. You had to draw with a mouse at best.
And MS Paint, baby.
Oh yeah. And now even like the most recent Exo Watermelon Exo comics that I've been putting up about the whole Bungie reveal, the whole Destiny 2 reveal, those are actually all done on an iPad. iPad
That's
Pro.
impressive.
Because I wanted to like have something that I could take with me and try to work on it, even though that didn't work out at all.
Even though you had no time to actually do it.
No.
Did you even like storyboard while we were there? It was so hard to do anything other than just be there.
I only did it on the plane a little bit, but then when I which this is going to come up in my next comic, like I was like drawing, and then like half hour in, I looked slightly to my right, and Triple Rec was like sitting right next to me, and I didn't realize that the whole time. And Mav, and I was like, "What?" I was just seeing him out of the corner of my eye, and I thought it was just like some old Chinese man or something. he had like really long black hair, and I was like,
I'm so gonna tell him.
No, don't tell him. And then I realized like in front of them is Miss 5000 Watts, and Hertzman was right behind. I was like, oh my god, this plane is like full of everybody from like the community.
Chinese man.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
And so like
just for the record, every time I played PvP, Triple Rec was on the other side. I didn't bother to look.
Oh no. So good excuse, yeah.
Yes, it was.
Oh gosh. So what kind of advice would you give to people who want to get started in doing artwork?
I was even having this question like lobbed to me last night when I was on Twitch from a kid who wanted to know how to even start. And I think the best advice is just draw like all the time. And that sounds like a cop-out kind of answer as well, but I mean, you have to draw almost like you're an insane person. Like you have to, carry around a sketchbook, and then every time you have like a second of time, just doodle something. It doesn't matter if it's a masterpiece or anything. You just draw some people walking down the street, draw some plants, draw a bird, draw something from your imagination, and just keep drawing like until you just fill up that sketchbook, and then get another sketchbook and fill that one up. And you have to just keep drawing. That is the number one thing that will make you a better artist, is just practice.
Drawing from imagination seems like it's so much harder.
No.
Oh gosh, I could take a picture and I can copy the picture.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. I will do that fine. But if you make me sit down and say, draw from memory this person without a reference, oh my god, I'm just sitting there in tears because I don't even know where to start.
That's hard. That if you're trying to like replicate something from memory, I think that would be pretty hard. But I think as you draw, like as you draw stuff from life, like probably stuff from your imagination will get easier and easier to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then another piece of advice is to kind of if you want to do something like go into art as a career, just be willing to just like ignore your own like inhibitions or ignore your own like doubts about yourself and just keep drawing. Like, yeah, I don't know how to describe this. Like a lot of people, oh yeah, like in college, I had a job working as one of those people in the zoo that draw caricatures.
Mm-hmm.
On the not on the street, but like in like an amusement park, you'll see the caricature artists and stuff. And that was kind of the worst job. Well, no, it wasn't the worst job, but it was pretty bad because you have to like constantly ask people, "Oh, do you want a caricature? You want a caricature?" And they're like avoiding you and giving you dirty looks and stuff.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And you basically only got paid what you made, like from the drawings you made that day.
Mm-hmm.
So some days you'd go into work and draw no one, and you're like, well, I just sat around for 8 hours, got nothing for it. So, but okay, enough complaining. But like, the thing about that was there were some artists there that were so good, and I always felt like they could get a job anytime, like in animation and stuff. But I'd ask them like, why aren't you applying to like a job? Why aren't you applying to studios at Cartoon Network or something? And they'd be like, my portfolio is not ready yet. I feel like I need to get better. And I feel like that is kind of like have to be just let go of that and like be willing to kind of make a fool out of yourself. You know, maybe
Put
you'll
yourself out there.
Yeah, just put yourself out there, and if you don't do that, nothing will come of it. But
I mean, considering you
yeah.
did Boom Studio, I mean, Boom Studio is not a name to like snuff. Neither is Tokyo.
yeah,
It's like both of them are huge names in the comic world. It's just, it's impressive. It's very impressive that you've been able to break into it. Because the only reason I know anything about art is I had a friend in college who was an art major. He was an art teacher. And he talked about the struggle bus that most people in the area go through because they get cornerstoned into a very specific style and no one ever pushes them, and that's all they do. And then they don't try to branch out and do anything that may be a little bit different and challenge them.
Yeah. So you just have to like, sometimes you just have to roll the dice and actually just ignore your doubts and just
get out of your own way.
Yeah, get out of your own way, exactly. And that, I think that's a limit that a lot of like artists just starting like have. They don't really want to really try, or like they'll apply to a job and like kind of self-sabotage, themselves because they won't get all their like portfolio together and stuff because they're like not quite convinced that they themselves can get the job.
Right, yeah.
Maybe they're like way talented.
So, Jake, what was the first job or the first piece of work that you did where you said, yeah, I'm going to make a living out of this? Where you really felt like you weren't messing around anymore. You'd found your calling.
I don't know if that's actually happened. I don't know. Because you always have like that. You always do have that self-doubt, Mm-hmm. People are like, oh, your stuff's really great. But you're like, are you sure about that? I don't know. But I was really proud of my first graphic novel, because that was like almost 200 pages of comic book work, and like no one had been able to see it yet. And then the first time the public sees it is like in a bookstore, and that was pretty cool. And you're like, whoa, this is real.
Yeah, that would be a really cool feeling, I think.
Yeah.
And I could go to a bookstore and buy that.
Not anymore because it's out of print. But at some time you can go on eBay and buy this. And actually, you can go on Comixology.
Oh, is it in
Comixology?
Comixology?
Yep. Yeah,
Nice.
all my old comics are kind of archived in a Comixology.
Yeah.
Which is...
We will have to link the name of that sucker.
Yeah, I have like a whole author page for there.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
So what about, all right, so here's another really common question. I'm sure you've gotten this one. All right, so we know we have to work really hard. We have to practice all the to what's the secret to to being successful?
Because
That's what it is. It's all about the secret.
I want a trick.
It's more of like what it's more of what I was saying like before. It's like there's no secrets. It's just like you could practice a lot. You could try every chance you get to get a job. Like when I was applying to every job opportunity on Craigslist and stuff, and like Craigslist was even how my wife got a job in video games.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like don't be shy to
don't
as long as they're not like
Craigslist.
Yeah, don't as long as they're not like asking for free art or something, like then stay away from that.
Right.
But yeah, but just don't be afraid to get out there. And then maybe it's really hard for artists to do this, like me too. Like I went to the Bungie reveal, but like I barely talked to anybody because I get like pretty timid around public things, but like at the same time, don't be afraid to talk to people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, if you want to get into like even like game development, don't be afraid to go and have a chat, with some of the game developers, because they'll remember you or something later down the road.
Well, and talking, I mean, well, let's kind of deviate into the Destiny 2 reveal there. I've seen they started releasing some of the background, is it the mats? Is that the right term for it? Like it's like the base image that they used for the scenes, kind of like the background, like art.
Oh, there was some concept art.
Yeah, I mean,
concept art hanging up of some of the.
No, well, I mean, like
just the way background.
Yeah, so like they, I don't know, Hegemony kind of put some stuff up, and it was like,
you mean the skyboxes, right?
Yes, yeah. I guess, but it was like I think he called it like a mat or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyways, I just know like it's the picture. It's like the picture. The one with Zavala standing on the tower looking over the city with the Traveler, but it doesn't have Zavala in it from the animation. So like for you, what is it like when you go to, what was Destiny 2 like? What, like from an artistic standpoint, did you know what stood out for you, I guess, as an artist?
Yeah. I don't know if people noticed, but like I hear a lot of like people kind of, not a lot, but a few people like ragging on Destiny 2 for being like too the same as Destiny 1 and looks the same, and people are like
so different.
Yeah, people are saying that like it doesn't look any different.
Yeah,
but I have to disagree. It really looks a lot different. So I was like I got to play toward the end of the reveal. You could basically just you could play the first story mission where you're in the tower and it's on fire
at will.
Yeah, you could just like sit there and be like, oh, I'm gonna play it again, and like you don't have to get up from your seat at all, because they had to they had to turn off some of the stations because no one was there. But
I know Justin said they had to drag him out. So
yeah, I was just playing it a few times. I was playing over and over and like getting up close to things and like, whoa, the reflection on that is so good. Like they really did update the like materials of everything. The
particle effects and things like that.
Oh yeah, the particles are more advanced.
Actually, there was one point where I think I threw a grenade or something on the ground, and all the ammo boxes were right there where I threw my grenade, and then they started just flipping and bouncing all over the place. Not like crazy, like 50 feet or anything, but I was like, okay, I don't remember that. Maybe they used to do that, but I don't remember it being so dynamic, I guess.
Yeah, it did seem more like even like in the trailer part when it showed the first live action part, one of the bad guys like drops a heavy and it kind of like does a spin in the air and then drops. was like, yeah, wow, the animation systems have been updated.
And don't even talk about PC.
Oh my god, PC looks too good. Because PC, like, I finished the Strike right on PS4, and it looked amazing. And then I wandered over to the PC, and I was like, "What is this? It's the same Strike. It's the same Strike, but like everything has so many more frames and things that you're used to seeing,
almost
like
twice as many, right?
yeah, or up to 400 or something. Was it?
That's
200?
insane.
Yeah,
but it's like when you do something that you are really used to, like resing or something. Like if you do a res animation, like you see that res animation, you've seen it 1,000 times and millions of times, but seeing it on the PC is like different. There's like so many more little details that you didn't know were there. Kind of insane.
So you said your wife does video game. Is she an artist as well?
Yeah, she actually she is a she answered a Craigslist ad when we first moved to Seattle. It was to do like fashion design. Yeah, clothing concept design. As I look at her, like, what was it? But then she quickly became the lead character design artist. Character concept artist. And basically, and it was like I think she just basically showed that she's like, she would get what had to be done on time or ahead of time, and she kind of took charge, and she basically heads a whole art department.
That's thinking about designing for a world that would be considered 3D, even though I know Destiny technically isn't necessarily 3D, just the modeling involved for that, and then all the physics added on top of that. It's just like, I can't even imagine how many man hours go into that as far as designing the character and then creating the effects that happens with the computer. It's like, that's almost mind blowing.
It almost makes me mad. It makes me mad a little bit, like when people have complained about not having enough new items or something on a release or something. They'll be
complaining about being reskinned.
Yeah, and it's like, you know how much hard it is to do that. Even like things like simple as like those like the different color combinations that you can have that are applied to your armor and stuff, but you notice like each one affects the armor differently. It's like someone had to like go and pick and choose like how it's gonna look for probably every item. It's not just like a apply to all items type of thing.
What? Yeah, it is.
So much.
It would be so boring if it did. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah. There's little details, and it just, everything takes so many man hours. That's why they have like 700 employees over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's intense.
Yeah. Very.
So you've done some concept art for video games, haven't you?
Yeah. I actually, like, through a little bit of nepotism, my wife got me a job at the same company. Yeah. So, but then they needed a concept artist basically to make their world. It's kind of like a casual game where kids can come in and like dress their avatar and play games and stuff and walk around in like a little virtual world. And but they needed someone to make the backgrounds and stuff. So I could do that.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah. So, and thus I've been working there for like 10 years.
Nice.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. And it's it ends up being like working for a video game company. Like it ends up being like you're doing more than what your job title says. It's like I do background concepts, but that's barely what I do. Like most of the time I'm doing other stuff, whatever kind of art is needed. Oh, we need an art for like this ad, or you need this like a button in a game needs to be made, or like an icon, or you need to like maybe model some 3D item or edit a little bit of code to make a furniture item work or something. It gets immense.
Basically,
Yeah.
what I hear is that I'm not the only one who has a job like that.
Yeah.
Where you do everything.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily everything, but it's like that wasn't in the job description. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah. Sometimes things just have to get done, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. I like having a job like that because I've had the opposite where I've had just a menial construction job or something, and it was just dig ditches all day.
Yeah, no, it
Not
definitely
Not that that is a bad thing, but
No.
But
I mean,
No, you were
not
right.
bad.
You were spot on.
So no, I'm just saying that I appreciate having variety.
Right.
No, definitely.
So, say somebody gives you an assignment to do a background. Do they just give you like a basic few keywords of what they were looking for, or do they give you a whole story? Like, how much do
really
you get to
depends.
decide?
Yeah. Well, I'm the background art director, so I usually decide all of the things, but sometimes
I usually get
like
the
right now-
details.
right now I'm working on a game that is like headed by someone else, and it's kind of someone else's baby, and so I have been like taking like direction, and
I
yeah, I
gotcha.
just listen to what they have to say, and then I interpret what they have to say into some kind of like rough form, you know, and then they look at it, decide that's where I was thinking, or no, that's not what I'm thinking, and I make changes and keep going from there until either you run out of time or I have to just be like, no, this has to be done. This is the final.
So, when you did like comics for Boom, and I'm gonna jump back just a tiny back into the comic book world, I know that doing panels is, yes, it's time consuming, but doing covers, did you get to do covers for your own comics, or did that get? Because I know sometimes they ship that out to somebody else to do the cover for what comic.
Yeah, I think I was like pretty lucky to be able to like design my own covers and stuff. But I got to do them for Undertown, and then later Fraggle Rock. I did two different Fraggle Rock books, and I was actually the person to do covers on those, even though one of the Fraggle Rock books was like an anthology of different artists, but they let me do the cover for it.
Nice.
Which I was like, oh, yeah. And and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that, and it's a lot of fun. That's like maybe the funnest. That's not a word, but it's the most fun thing to do, because it's like what you're designing, like one picture, and it has to like kind of encapsulate the whole book and the feel of the whole book.
Right.
Yeah.
The style, though, sometimes what's really jarring to me, if I pick up like a Wonder Woman comic and the cover has been done by somebody completely different who's doing the actual panels, it's super jarring to me because the styles are just that much different. Just syncing up the styles. Do you get to choose the style that you work in with a lot of those comics, or is that something that's chosen for you?
Oh yeah. I think usually I get to pick the style, and that might just be because like the editor is selecting me knowing what style I can bring to the table, and then so they already know, oh, Jake has this kind of style, so that's where we're picking it. And they're not going to try to like, push me into some other foreign style that is foreign to me and that I'll probably struggle with. Yeah, so it's usually, I don't think they ever really ask people to do a style that's outside of their own abilities, unless, I don't know. I'm saying that also, like, there are cases actually, like like if you're doing a book for like rescue rangers or something, like a property that's like known, that has a very specific style. I guess in those cases things can get pretty difficult. Like I did one graphic novel comic series for Finding Nemo, the Pixar comic or the Pixar animation. Yeah, and it was fun, but the edits that you'd get from Disney were kind of insane, and they always seemed to be contradictory to what they said before and stuff. And so they would they'd approve a cover, and then it would be printed, and then they'd unapprove the cover and say, no, you have to change these things. And I was like, it's printed already. What the heck is happening? So like, then you'd go back and have to fix it to some arbitrary, style guide. So that, I guess that's a case where
sounds like work. Yeah, it sounds like working with Blue.
Wow.
Too many people running the boat. Too many captains on the ship.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Wow, you've done stuff for Disney though. That's pretty.
Yeah.
How
sort of for
commercial
Disney. Yeah, sort of.
That sounds absolutely terrifying to me.
It is. It's a little bit scary.
Oh God.
Conversely, I've done like Fraggle Rock, which is a Henson property, and that was like, they were like a dream to work with, and they did do edits sometimes, but it was always like almost minimal, and like really understanding of like that. Oh, all artists have a different style, and
it's nice when people can recognize that.
Yeah.
So
really
like, so what I'm in. So this is me kind of comparing it to something that I'm more familiar with. So like when we do programming projects, we kind of do the same thing with programmers. Like there's a just pick a number, and it's probably more programs out there, and so obviously there's always someone who's really specialized in that particular program, which I'd assume is kind of the same for an art style. And so like it sounds like, I guess like the project, I could quote the project manager of a particular project, they kind of know what style, or they hopefully know what style they're kind of going for. And so is that right? They kind of gear who they pick based off, and I guess that's where your portfolio comes in, right? Is that how that?
Yeah, and usually like the editor is like the one who's choosing it, and like he knows he kind of has like a roster of artists in mind. Like, they're pretty smart about it. If it's a good editor, and they'll know who to choose, because they want to make a book that comes out and is not difficult to produce, and it comes out on time and looks good. So they're gonna try to pick the artist that is best for the book, and the writer that's best for the book, or both.
So, and I guess like to kind of go off that to jump into a different question is like, so when you picture comic books, in Green, I think you kind of were talking about this, but you were talking more like the art for the cover and the art within. But like the writer and the artist are usually two different people, right?
Yeah.
Is that a pretty common? I mean, that's most comics that I've seen. They've been usually two separate people. Web comics are kind of like a weird hybridization of it, because I mean, like it's like with Watermelon Exo, you are the artist and the storyteller. Most web comics that I've seen, I'm assuming that's pretty much the case. So how did like, well, I guess the question there is, so how does the art, the concept art or the art, how does that drive the story, or vice versa? Like how does that relationship between the artist and the writer, how does that work?
It's like, it can really differ case by case basis. I know cases where people have, like, artists have been paired up with like a writer who is just like a pain to work with, and not able to budge in any way from their vision,
Right.
And then there'll be writers who are very like able to like adapt, and like maybe they'll see things in the artwork as the project is going along where it kind of influences like maybe even like the direction of the story. And I think the best like cases for me, like in the past, like have been a writer that like I don't know, they write what's happening in the story, but then they leave all like the visual things and like how things look basically up to me.
Instead of writing panel by panel what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, because you need to tell the story.
Right.
And he'll tell me some specifics, but then not have to delineate every single piece of the thing, because that just makes it so hard, because I'm trying to like, I'll be trying to like, steer the ship exactly into this vision that the writer has, and it just never seems to work out, So, yeah.
The difference between actually creating the story and writing it versus seeing the story in your head and having that set expectation already there of exactly what you want.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. And then like, webcomics is like a totally different thing, because there are webcomics where it is writer and artists are different people. But a lot of them are just like, it's just one person putting out. My wife actually does a webcomic with a friend, and they kind of collaborate on all parts. Like they both write and they both draw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. Like, because I know. There was one that I used to read a lot, and I just blanked on its name. But there was a team of like 2 or 3 people, and it was kind of the same thing. 2 of them were the kind of the artist team, but then one of them was the kind of the head writer. But they all 3 kind of like traded. It was definitely like a team effort, which sounds like everything should be if it's moving smoothly.
Yeah, and yeah, you were saying like Blue, you were saying that like most American comics that you've seen, like basically they cut up the things that you have to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you'll get a comic. That's why like American comics are like, they'll maybe be a writer, and then a different person's the penciler, then a different person's the inker.
Oh yeah, that's like, oh my gosh, they like, so it's like division of labor to the nth degree.
Exactly.
So like, you kind of, when in your experience, do you usually do like all of the art, or have you worked on teams where it's that it's not really micromanaged, but it's like that segregated?
It is, yeah. Not really. Like I've weirdly always been like the person who kind of draws and colors everything. I don't know.
Right. Well, and it sounds like that's kind of how that sounds like what you prefer.
Yeah, I think it's because like I'll usually end up like a lot of the projects I've worked on, like I'll be the artist for it, but then they'll be like, "Oh, we like your colors too, so why don't you just color it too?" And
while you're in there, just knock it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like that too. Then I have more control over how everything
right looks. Yeah, that's, to me, whenever I read about that, it's like that would drive me insane. If I was like at all that particular, like I do more when I doodle, I do more like abstract geometric designs, but so like they don't have any color at all. But like if I was like a more realistic, like more naturalistic draw, like more of real life, I
photorealism.
Yeah, thank you. It would drive me insane. I'm too OCD about it. Like I would be like, no, if in case of the line art, it's like, no, that's not how I wanted it colored. Like that's not how I see it, and I can't imagine like the mindset that it would be required to be like, okay, I'm done. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. So
Yeah. Yeah, and letting someone else like take your baby.
oh yeah,
You know,
that's
is
the other.
like-
It's I just spent
Sometimes
6
you
hours
just
on
don't have
that.
the
Why
time
did
to
you
do it.
ruin it?
Yeah. Yeah, but some, I mean, that can also work the opposite way, and
Right.
like
That's
someone amazing can color your thing, and you're like, wow, this is something that I would never have expected, and I wouldn't have done myself. I wouldn't have like colored it like this, but it's way better. But
Justin.
but yeah, for some reason I usually always do it all.
Okay.
I
Cool.
seem to remember a story about the Incredible Hulk is green because the artist who inked it used the wrong color. I think he was originally supposed to be red or something like that.
That's believable, especially back in those days. You had like 5 colors.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
RGB.
It's like for real.
Justin, did you had a question? I think Hurt had the it was that
Yeah,
the question you
actually,
were gonna ask.
we're kind of wondering from Hurt Shame from chat was wondering, is it easy or is it hard to transition from, say, in a particular panel or tile, depicting a character and then kind of shifting and showing just mainly purely scenery?
I don't think it actually is. It's pretty easy because like I'm kind of trying to do them both at the same time. At least for Watermelon and Exo, I'm like I'll say like I'll draw an arm, or I'll be drawing Watermelon. I'll draw an arm that's I don't like, but then I'll kind of work on the background a little bit to like cover over my mistake, but then that leads to me like thinking, oh, maybe I can like change the pose in another way, and it just kind of like this back and forth. But maybe that is, I don't know. Maybe no. I don't think it's not hard.
Do you start with the background or do you start with the foreground?
I always think it's a better idea to start with the background, but then sometimes I get overly excited and I want to draw the foreground for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you ever
realize-
painted a happy little tree?
Yes.
Have you ever?
That is my go-to morning time shows. It's so nice.
It's so good.
We don't make
So
mistakes. We don't make mistakes.
I love that mantra. It's just like I wish I could be that calm painting, but I have such anxiety putting paint on a canvas that you have no idea.
That's when you got to beat the devil.
I can't do it. I don't use oils. I just can't do it. Oh
I
man.
think I interrupted Jake. What were you going to say?
I have no idea.
No idea. Done.
Oh god. Okay, so I've been flipping through comics while you've been talking, and I came across your comic with Oryx doing his counseling session.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's so good.
That was a comic that like I had in my brain for a really long time, but like I had to wait for like me to get off of whatever tangent I was in the normal comic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was glad I actually got to do that one.
I love how the darkness is literally just this space man, literally with like a tie and just the mouth. It's so funny.
And actually, yeah, that's a pretty good one for like Focus Fire Chat too.
Yeah,
I pulled from the lore of Oryx and stuff, and his meeting with the darkness.
Oh my gosh, that
And
car.
how it was like,
Come in, sit down, take a
Yeah,
load off. It's like, what is going on?
yeah, it's like, what is he talking to at that moment? Is it like a dude like in some kind of Twin Peaks room that's like
lay
alternate,
back,
like-
lay back on the couch. Let's talk about your problems.
yeah, it's so strange.
I can never quite remember. They shout something DPS blah blah. It's like, oh my god.
And I figure that Oryx is a very like into himself.
Yeah,
Right.
that's probably accurate.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he's so cool, so they couldn't possibly be saying anything other than he's like suave and handsome.
Oh gosh, it's fun. I think just having the creative ability to not only draw what you want in your head, but come up with your own stories and be clever and silly and comedic a lot of times. But God, it's just being able to do all of it and not have to worry about somebody directing you on it.
Yeah. Well, then the scary part is like, I'm thinking like, is this even funny? Like,
I think it's hilarious.
So, thank you. But I go through a lot of like doubts of whether this is, if something's, I want to get it to at least be like slightly amusing. And if I can get to like that level, then I'm happy usually.
I like the fact that you pull in other genre or other pop culture references. Like Eevee is in the comic right before that one, and I'm like, what? Why is Eevee standing on Zavala?
That was during the Pokemon Go craze.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think that was I went to Comic-Con, I think what happened, and we went to Comic-Con like kind of spur of the moment, but then it was during that time in Pokemon Go where everyone's playing Pokemon Go, and it ended up just being like a trip of playing Pokemon Go, and we never even went into Comic-Con hardly at all. We were just like trying to catch Pokemon, because like San Diego had so many Pokemon stations, or crazy. It was just a wash in pink flowers, flower petals everywhere. If you played Pokemon Go,
I know how you feel. We went to Oklahoma City to go rock climbing because they have an indoor rock climbing gym made out of an old silo.
Yeah. And
downtown Oklahoma City was just every 50 feet or so was a new Pokestop. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. And it was funny because we'd be walking down the street and be like a, some kind of macho bar, but it would be like, we are a Pokestop. Like, yes. It's so amazing. It was amazing. It was so surreal.
Love it. I love it.
That was very. I think my favorite issue of Watermelon was the Pokemon Division mashup.
Oh yeah, and that was during the Division's going to kill Destiny.
Yeah, Division was going to kill me.
Yeah.
I don't know, Justin. You love that game.
Yeah. Oh, 2 hours of it.
Were you about to give up Destiny?
No. I was about to just give up life. I was just. I was just gonna walk into traffic because if this is the pinnacle of gaming, it's done.
The subway was what he loved.
The subway, Mork, yes. It's so bad. To kind of come full circle back to the art, though, I was just wondering what programs do you use when you do design on the computer?
It's mostly just Photoshop.
Okay.
Quick and dirty answer. Just Photoshop.
And when you, as far as like how your workflow gets laid out, do you do each panel as its own kind of Photoshop image and then piece them together later, or do you have like a big artboard?
Yeah, the latter.
Okay, cool. That one.
It's a big thing, but I do break it up. Like I usually like think about the panels and how many panels are going to be first, and just so I plan it, because you don't want to. It's like when you're writing a letter to someone and you want to get it all on one page or something. Make sure you're not saying "I love you" at the end, like in a really tiny.
Or when you're like making a welcome home poster board.
Yeah,
You want to make sure that you get both words in there.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that it could tell a story in that one page.
Okay. So you'll, if like the tiles aren't uniform, like some are bigger, some are smaller, you'll already have all those little sizes kind of picked out, and then you'll create art within each little window, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I do like a rough sketch, like really rough, and then basically I paint. Then I go to town and paint each one.
And I guess you kind of just vary the tile layout just to keep it interesting to the eye. It's just there's no rhyme or reason to it.
No, there's like some kinds of rules and stuff like that I kind of follow. Like if something's exciting is happening in that panel, I'll maybe start making the panels more have like more angles to them and maybe be cutting into another panel. If it's like and if it's like really extreme action or something, yeah, maybe the panel layout will become a little more crazy. And then if it's like calm, I'll have like more structured panels. There's a lot. There's a lot of like psychology to making panels, but
That's what it sounds like. That sounds really cool, actually.
But because like Watermelon Exo is like doing it really for fun, like don't really think about it as much as it probably should.
Yeah, like you have some of the overlap panels where you have like a character stand out that is mainly in one panel, but he crosses over and bleeds over into a couple of other panels. I mean, that kind of, I think that's so dynamic in a lot of comics. It's one of my favorite styles, quite honestly, when somebody breaks the panels a little bit.
Because that's like, that shows you like, oh, this panel's important, or this character is really important in one scene. So yeah, you'd break the panels like that. There's even like weird subtle things like if like a panel is bleeding into another page, then like you perceive time in a different way. Or if you have a bunch of tiny panels, it seems like a short amount of time, whereas like if you have a long panel, it seems like a long amount of time, because it's like how long your eye takes to scan that panel. It's like a lot of crazy stuff. And I don't profess to be expert on stuff. I just try to feel it out. Like, how does this feel to me? Does this feel good as a comic page?
Sometimes that's even more effective, to be honest.
Yeah, I think.
Well, skills, one thing. I mean, you develop skills, but I think you have to have somewhat of a good eye, and that's a lot harder to I guess you can develop that too, but
yeah, I mean,
that's one of those things I see you as being born with, kind of.
Well, that goes back to that practice too, right?
Yeah, it's totally the practice. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why if you want to be good at PvP, you have to put in the time to actually do that. Unless you're like 10-year-old. And you're just automatically good, I guess.
Yeah, it's a requisite for being a 10-year-old.
Yeah. Here's a weird question for you. Say you're doing a series of panels. How many layers would you say, just rough estimate, how many layers are you using in most of your panels?
Like, are you saying like in Photoshop layers?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I usually just have background layer, and then the like characters on their own layer. So like in case I need to move them around or something in the panel, and then like whatever the like quick drawing probably on its own layer. So probably three layers.
Okay.
And then maybe the panel lines are usually on separate layer too.
That's impressive for some of the amount of detail that you go in and do on some of these, because it's like you're adjusting everything.
I think that's like not recommended to do it like that.
Well, that's working destructively most of the time, correct?
Yeah.
But you're good, so you can do that.
Thanks. But yeah, I basically like I do it like that because then I can make a quick change if I need to, and I don't have to think like, oh, what layer is that light on?
Oh, that gets confusing so quick.
Yeah, and like I have some people that work with me like in video game stuff, and they'll work hundreds of layers in a Photoshop document, and they'll hand it to me, and I'll be like, where is this part on your thing? And it's like in a folder, in another folder, in a layer, and it's just
in a group.
Yeah, in a group. Yeah, exactly. I have a really hard time picking apart like the logic or something of the layers if it gets to too many. I'm simple.
That's okay. It's your style. I mean, I've only ever seen people just have hundreds of layers and work that way, and that just blows my mind. Like you said, it's just like trying to figure out the logic behind it. But it's impressive that you're able to get some of the effects that you do just on that one layer itself.
I think also part of it is like just memories of like running out of hard drive space and stuff, and like every time you make a layer, it like multiplies the size of the file. So I get really paranoid about files being too big.
That makes sense.
Probably also just massive paranoia.
Oh God, I just found the speaker dream.
Oh yeah,
That one's funny.
will we ever know the answer to that? No.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a triple face.
The face thing again. I like how Ghost is just like flat-eyed, like really.
Yeah, I think part of that is it's funny. Like someone mentioned this to me, like that the Ghost sounds more like less like the Nolan North Ghost and more like the
Dinklebot
Ghost.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, that's true. I started this when Dinklebot was the Ghost, and I kind of like I always got this like ominous feeling, or like he was very unenthusiastic Ghost, basically.
He was very sassy.
Yeah, but then I played the whole game with Nolan afterward, and there were a bunch of parts where I was like, "Oh, that was a joke," and I didn't know from Dinklebot's delivery that things were jokes.
Yeah.
Over there. Okay, sorry if I'm like stepping on any like Dinklebot fans.
No. I get it. It's interpretation. It's total difference in interpretation.
And even in Destiny 2, he sounds even more centric.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I like what I've heard so far with the strike mission and hearing Nolan versus the AI.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
They're so different.
Yeah, because that was something that really stood out to me. It was like, oh, they're really trying to push that, like, oh, your Ghost isn't just a normal AI. It's like almost a person, like, or it is like it has a personality, and it's like kind of talking down to the AI a little bit, and the AI is like, give me instructions, robot. Yeah.
Very artificial.
Great. Yeah. Meanwhile, your Ghost is like, whoa, Vex Milk Waterfall. Let's stop there. Take a picture.
I love that part. I said something about the fact that at the end of that strike that you are basically on a floating Oreo in a glass of Vex milk.
That is kind of true.
Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the strike yet. It's the Oreo strike.
It's the Oreo strike. I was in the zone for the strike. I don't even remember there being dialogue.
It's so good.
I mean, as many times as you died, yeah, I guess that's
easy.
Oh,
we finished it. A lot of people didn't finish it.
I heard that. I heard that a lot of people didn't finish it.
We finished it, so
I kind of wish that I had gone back and done it one more time.
Yeah, me too. But we kind of snuck in and did wait in line to do it either.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to push my luck.
But it just felt like seemed like there were a lot of places that we kind of overlooked. Like you're just kind of following the breadcrumbs basically through the level, follow the arrow. But then off to the sides and stuff, there was so much space. I heard someone even found like a ghost somewhere.
Really?
Oh, cool.
That makes me hopeful.
Yeah, me too.
Ooh, excited.
So the color palette for Destiny 2 seems a little different.
Yeah, I don't know if that is from just it being a different planet.
Could be. I mean, I just didn't know if it was because of the mood that they're trying to set for the opening mission, with the fact that it was a war and very, very red, very much so red. I mean,
and I guess
Legion.
I guess all your armor is kind of subdued too. I mean, compared to what the flashy stuff we're wearing right now.
Well, but the ships though, like the ships in the loading screen, are super bright compared to what we have now.
Oh yeah.
And a lot more sleek looking too. They're
I was about to say the lines were very much more smooth just the weapons and the ships that I was able to see.
It felt like it always felt to me like the ships in Destiny 1 were kind of an afterthought. Like they're just they're basically pieces of gun guns that were like reconfigured to be a ship or something.
Yeah.
And then but then this seemed like, oh, we're designing ships from the ground up.
Yeah.
Each one looks way different.
Definitely. I mean, some of them, I wonder if they pull more models from the real world to try to build their ships off of.
Yeah.
Because what was the one that I fly most of the time, and I can't even think of what it's called. It's the one that basically looks like an F-14.
Mm.
And I mean, just the fact that I can recognize what that is, modern day ship. I wonder how many of the new ships will be based off of things that we already have around in the military.
Yeah, that might be. That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe you
It's
have
just-
to get your ship from the European dead zone or something.
Yeah.
It's just for me good to have ships that look like they might actually fly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's always a bonus. Not a Seraphim toaster that looks like.
Hey.
I think that thing is hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
Okay, you could literally name out any one of those ships that looks exactly like that ship. Okay, it's the
Well-
model I'm calling out.
The flying school bus.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
it's like speakers on the side.
yeah. I mean, it's a style, it's a choice, and that's what they went with.
Yeah.
Goodness.
It's okay.
Was
No,
go ahead, Green. What was your favorite moment? We've talked about a little bit as far as the art in Destiny 2. What was your favorite moment at the D2 release? Just it could be art, it could be general, it could be whatever floats your boat at the moment.
Favorite moment. I guess my favorite moment was really like just the moment of, I don't know. That's a hard question.
Yeah. I've been asking everybody that, and a lot of people have been ignoring me because it is a difficult question to answer.
The moment that like really was the most exciting was weirdly when Cade popped a golden gun and you're like,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and everyone like, that might just be because like everyone cheered at that time and you're like, you felt like the crowd going
Right.
That was
crazy.
actually funny because for me, I thought the part that the crowd really got up for was when Zavala Fist of Havoc.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was.
Alley. Everyone went.
I think
You
the
could
whole
hear that in the
I think that whole like
stream.
sequence, like where it's just like,
Yes.
oh dang, this is just a fight right now, like on the street of Zavala and like going against some
It
fallen
was
captain.
a firefight.
It
Look-
was a firefight.
It looked cool.
Speaking of Zavala, did anybody else notice there was particle effects on his face during the cinematic?
Yes.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
have been there before though.
Have they?
Yeah.
They were in
I've never
Taken King.
noticed it.
They weren't
Okay.
done
They-
that well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got better. I think all the character models were changed slightly.
I
Because
really
even like
liked that.
when they first showed Cade like in the bar scene,
Mhm.
like I was like really like kind of shocked how much they changed his face.
Oh,
Mhm.
the whole place was talking about Amanda Holliday's freckles for like ever.
Oh, so cute! Little Amanda Holiday. I want a figurine of her at that age.
Oh,
I think that would be awesome.
yeah, maybe someday you have to like go back in time and save her or something.
Yeah, that'd be
So
cool.
that you can get the chaperone later.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Good
So did we
stuff.
leave any stones unturned?
Looking through, if we didn't hit it like in order, we did hit it in the conversation.
Yeah.
Talked about a lot of stuff here.
Mhm.
Yes.
Justin, you were like bouncing all over the place in that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's what I
Oh,
do. No, I was just gonna say, so I mean, it seems to me the overarching theme here is if you're passionate about art, just practice, and don't ever quit pursuing it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't want to hear that. They're like they do
Yeah.
want like some kind of secret easy way, but
Mhm.
it's not easy.
Yeah. Story of life, guys. If you want
And
something,
also,
you gotta work for it.
There's there's not just one type of art for you to find a career in either.
Oh, there's so many different styles.
Yeah.
Or even just applications. I mean, there's graphic designers that do websites. There's people that just do kind of like texture, like there's all kinds of places to I'm babbling. There's all kinds of places.
No, it's true. It's true.
And
like even
niches to get in.
Even if you look at like the job postings at Bungie or something,
Oh yeah.
there's like so many different kinds of artists like they're asking for. Like you could be, some kind of 3D artist, just the lighting artist, just the texture artist, world art. Goes on.
I'd like to just design the emblems.
Yeah.
There's a guy that does that.
There is a guy.
That'd be so good.
I actually follow him. His artwork is crazy.
You got to be
Okay.
good at design though.
Right. No, that's what I
Yes.
mean is like on his what is it? Is it ArtStation? I think is the site that a lot of them have like all their. I think is that like the digital portfolio basically of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually am the person who sits here and goes through DeviantArt for like 6 hours looking at.
Well,
Oh my
he
God.
probably
But
probably does like all the logos and stuff for all the in-game.
Yeah,
companies and
I'm
things.
trying to remember who it is, but I actually spent like probably 2 hours going through his ArtStation page because they.
Oh, did you?
No, go for it.
Oh, one thing I noticed just today though, like when I was watching someone's stream of the first mission. There's even logos just for the Cabal Artillery Company or something, like the company that whatever Cabal company that makes their artillery. It's like in boxes all around the place and on their ship, and it's like a little icon and everything. It's like so much detail. That's a lot of design.
Yeah, it's just
There's so many different facets to it.
I've lost hours to like some of the Destiny or the Bungie art teams, art stations, like because it's not just Bungie, it's all their like doodles, their their personal artwork that they've loaded up onto it. It's great. That site you can lose hours and get some really cool wallpapers.
Oh yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, no. Some of my favorite wallpapers are I guess they would label them like throwaways, but it's like if that's a throwaway, dude, I'm just never even gonna try.
It's garbage, brah.
Yeah. Green, did you have one more question?
I did, but it's kind of a deep question, so I'm a little worried to ask it. I know that a lot of people, when they get really immersed in being in a certain environment in their workplace, so say as an artist, do you get kind of jaded and can't really appreciate things when you see it come up on the screen, like at the Destiny reveal, because you're like, oh, this art thing, that you're just so preoccupied with the technical side of it that you can't appreciate it for just the aesthetic side of it? Or is it because, I don't know, I'm kind of babbling this question because I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it.
Like, are you talking about like when like an actor can't watch a movie without analyzing all the movie?
Right, like
plot points and stuff.
Exactly. So like somebody who goes and does musicals who gets so burned out on it and they can't watch them anymore because they know everything that's going to happen because they know every aspect of it. It takes the magic away.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Good.
Sorry.
Yay. No, that makes me happy that you don't have that problem.
Yeah, and especially something like that's like a video game. Like there's so many people that do every little part of the game, and like you can't really extract one part of it from the rest, and like all merges together into like one product, I guess. And that product's always really entertaining.
That makes me really happy that you don't have that problem.
No, I'm always kind of in awe of like what they're able to do, especially like first person shooters and stuff. Like I really didn't ever play first person shooters until like 2011 or 12 or something, like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got Portal, and
Yes.
like, oh yeah, and then I was like, holy crap, first person shooters can tell a story. Because I was thinking they're all like, I don't know, like, yeah, just no story, just beefy dudes shooting each other. and then I got like Half-Life, and then it was like,
so much stories, so much for the story there.
I'm always kind of swept away.
That's good though. I worry about people who get so invested or so involved with the professional side of it and the technical side that I worry that they lose that magic of the entirety of it.
I think that's why, like, they've been saying so many times, like, even at Bungie, like, everyone who works on the game is also kind of a fan of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And they play it on their off time.
Cool.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. Because I know I don't do that for my work.
Yeah.
Just
I don't.
gonna say that. Like, that's takes a special kind of passion to okay, well, I worked on this, now I'm gonna go back in my free time and work on it, or not work on it, but enjoy it some more.
Yeah. You probably, usually most jobs you don't want to see that.
Yeah.
You do.
Most is like, I'm going home because I'm going home.
Yeah.
I did want to kind of, before we run to shout outs, I did want to swing back around to I think a comment that you made, and it wasn't really like a big comment, but I think it's something that I've seen a lot of recently on Twitter, especially, but this idea of artwork for free, or, all this stuff. And this might be a little bit salt, I guess, but you said this, and I agree 100% with it. As a consumer, talking to an artist, I think it's very disrespectful to ask for something for free, unless you're Justin, and then I expect it. But
what?
No.
Oh, you're calling me an artist. I was really confused.
Yeah, you can.
My jaw dropped over here going, what?
Yeah. I was like, I didn't ask Jake for a thing, and I want to ask for so many things.
No. I demand Justin make us art for our streams.
It's not art, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just keep going.
But I mean, like, that concept, I've seen a lot of people posting it. And so is that, just from your perspective, is that something that's kind of, is that starting to come up more, or is it just something that, people are just growing tired of the constant and are trying to cut it at, or nip it in the bud?
No, I think it's just pervasive in the internet,
Okay.
And like, just people need art, so maybe you can just get someone to do it for notoriety or something, but not have to pay them. And like when that was going to be like one of my suggestions to someone who's like trying to,
I saw that.
Start out as like a beginning artist in the world and stuff, and like, you should at least feel like you should at least get some kind of payment for your work, because it's your time and your effort. And yeah, and unless it is like, do you see a direct line from like what you're doing to like some kind of benefit to you, whether it's like Monster energy drinks or something, or like,
or if it's like
anything.
doing something for like an internship or something like that.
Yeah,
But even then
you're getting credit.
Right. I was about to say, even then you're technically getting paid for it, though, because you're getting,
and a lot of times that is like, you're doing it for free maybe, or really cheap, but you're doing that internship for the promise of maybe getting hired.
Right.
Or the opportunity, or like that's fine. But I think, just artists have to be aware of, like, be wary of like being taken advantage of.
Because I've got one of my really good friends is a graphic designer. He does web design, and
And he's freaking amazing at it.
It kind of talked to me about valuing your work. You might feel you're a beginner, a novice, whatever, but your work has some value. I mean, very little in this world has zero value. You know, you have to value your own work. If you overvalue it, you won't do a whole lot of work for people. But if you undervalue it,
philosophy, actually.
If you undervalue it, you're going to beat yourself to death, and you're probably just going to quit.
Yep.
So, it's a fine line to walk, but you definitely have to value your work enough to, I don't want to call a plumber who will come and work in my house for 5 hours for free, unless I know him. I don't want him.
Yeah, that'd be really suspicious too.
Yes, it would. So I don't want my surgeon to walk in the room and go, "You know what, bud? This one's on the house."
Yeah.
And clap his hands. No.
You're paying for somebody's hard-earned skill. I mean,
exactly.
How much do you value that skill? I mean, do you
blood, sweat, and tears?
Right. I mean, you want to make sure that they are not only compensated, but they put in so much time into a lot of these pieces, because these pieces, I mean, it takes a while to put a lot of these pieces together. I mean, I did a drawing years ago for my mother that took me 6 weeks to do, because I suck and I'm slow. But
how much did you charge her?
I didn't charge her.
Oh, come on, Green.
It's my mom. She gave birth. That kind of is a trump card, It's a trump card.
But you were paid with her, like, probably gratitude or something.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm also probably going to get her car, so that'll be good.
You are here. You kind of owe her one. You owe her a solid.
Yep. The birth card. She'll play that till the day she dies. I gave birth to you. Yes, Mom.
And it'll work. That's the thing. Well, I wanted to swing back to that one, because I think I have seen that come up quite a few times actually in the past like week or so. And I'm like, it was something that like I knew in the back, like it happens. I know that, but then like I was seeing it by like 2 or 3 different pretty big name. I know Captain Twas posted it, I think last week, and that kind of took off there for a little while. And I know,
and it might be because of I have a theory also that maybe it's because of the whole Twitch affiliate thing, and like maybe people are looking for people to do
for like the emotes and stuff. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and some people are willing to do them for free, but like you're not going to get a good emote if you're like kind of conning someone out of their time.
Yeah, I mean, just personally, I'm like, I'm just like, I kind of fall in line with, I know this is kind of Bife's philosophy as well for his Patreon is, it's like, I wouldn't, just me personally, this is 100% my personal opinion, but like, if I'm going to ask someone to make me something, it's almost it almost to me is an insult to ask them to do it for free. Like, it's like, that's me saying that I don't value your time. And that's not the case at all. And so it's like, that's just where I'm kind of like, I've never really understood that just personally. So, but.
So we know how you feel about me.
Yeah. Curses. I'm going to have to edit that out, aren't I?
Yeah. Oh.
Well, let's roll. I think we hit everything, right? Did we? All right. Well, let's roll into some shout outs, and then I think we can stick around for a little bit of an after show.
Okay.
Jake,
am I invited?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You're invited. I think I speak for Justin, or I'm going to beat Justin to the punch here. I think anytime you want, you're invited.
You're invited.
Yay. Yes.
Yeah.
Even if you want to come and talk lore, I don't care.
Oh, yeah. I am interested. I'm interested in lore, even though I make fun of it.
That's okay. We make fun of it too. So what shout outs? I know one of these shout outs is going to get a lot of hip hoorays from a couple of our people.
Well, okay. I want to first off, I want to like thank you guys for letting me on the show because that was very nice of you. And yeah, and then I also want to thank, or not thank. I want to make a shout out to my booth mates, Hojtastic and Carly Cartoons, who are going to be joining me at Guardian Con, and yeah, we're gonna have a booth and everything. It's called the Elixni Enthusiast Alliance, which is way too long of a name.
The best part is the bumper sticker.
The EEAB.
I know Damo. I'm gonna have to send Damo. Like, I'm gonna have to get him as many little things that you guys have with the, because you have, isn't that one the one with the captain head?
Yeah. So we even made a website for it for no reason, basically. But and it's weird because it's like we may never do this again, but at least for a Guardian Con, we made like a little art group.
Nice. You guys will be doing caricatures, correct?
I can't speak for my
Destiny themed
mates.
caricatures.
That would be pretty sweet, though. Maybe
It would.
I'll bring pencil. I'll at least draw one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if
maybe
you don't
maybe
have
for
caricatures.
For Justin.
for me.
Yeah.
No. Maybe
you have a highly
like,
caricature. You have a very highly caricaturable face.
I'm basically a caricature
You're
already.
unique. Nice, you are unique.
Yeah.
I love Justin's response.
I'm basically already one. I'm just not on paper.
I love it.
I'd love to draw that.
You heard it.
But even if you don't do the caricatures, Justin, you'll have your own art there, and you guys are going to be selling your art and your pins and stuff like that. So definitely show up if you are coming to Guardian Con to support these guys.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll have a lot of things hopefully to sell, and hopefully I'll actually be in a full EXO costume.
That's awesome.
My booth. If it's not too hot in there, I don't know how the air conditioning is gonna go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it though, and looking forward to meeting you guys there.
Yeah,
definitely.
Cool.
You gotta have some merch.
Green, what about you? Shout outs.
My shout out is to first to Jake for just coming on here and reminding me that I do know something about art a little bit, because now after starting to talk about it, I'm like, hey, I remember some of these terms. Yeah. And then my other shout out goes to Sean, the art guy, who's in our Discord, and he never listens to the show because he's kind of a fuddy-duddy like that. But he's the guy who taught me about art in college. He was my art teacher buddy who was going to school for it at the time. And I would not have any passion to draw or any desire to draw at all if it wasn't for him, because he just sat down with a pad and paper and threw it at me half the time, and we talk about D&D and draw. So that's my shout outs. Justin?
Just great big shout out to Jake, or as he's known on the Twitterverse, lazesummerstone.
I hate you so much
for joining and just hanging out with us and talking some art, and also for making Watermelon Exo, which it's funny because it's been around since as long as I've been playing this game, so it's kind of wormed its way into my head canon, so to speak.
Good. Then I've done my job.
I love it. Good.
Like so many of these like moments from these grimoire cards, the visual from Watermelon has made its way into my head visual. So
I know the darkness one. That's like exactly.
Yeah, that sticks with you.
That's exactly what I see.
I just want to be an NPC in the game, please.
I think you should be, or I think there should at least be a Watermelon Exo shader. I know you have something that's close right now, but I think there should be one called Watermelon Exo.
That would be awesome.
I love that.
Bungie, please. So other than that, just big shout out to I don't know, just Guardian Con in general. And if I didn't shout you out last week, big shout out to all my squad from the D2 reveal. That was so freaking fun. And yeah, just blue and green for allowing me to go to the D2 reveal again. Y'all are amazing.
This is 4 weeks in a row we've gotten.
4 weeks in a row.
I know. He's a little.
Got
he's
it
a
going.
little-
I'm emotional, okay? I'm emotional.
Good guys, thanks.
I like how
And thank you, bye.
I like how you tried to hijack my shout outs here, Justin.
Oh, did I? What'd I do? I didn't see. Oh no, that's you. You wrote that. You were.
I love how you can hover over it and see who did write it, though.
Can you?
You can figure it out.
So,
anyways, guys, thank you.
So the next behind the scenes, I'm actually working on something I'm hoping will work out, and it should be really cool. As soon as we get that kind of, I think, a little bit more solidified, we will be updating the Discord chat. So be sure to jump into the Discord server if you are not already over there for the behind the scenes, because that's usually, like I said, this is the first behind the scenes that we actually have recorded live, which was, usually we record offline just simply because some of the topics kind of can get edged towards people's areas where people might have NDAs, to be blunt. And so there's some reviews that sometimes need to go into it before we go live. But so it's an interesting experiment for us to do a behind the scenes live. But normally what we do is we collect the questions from the chat over the couple months that we prep, and then those are what stem the conversation that we then record and distribute. For those who are in the stream right now, we are actually going to be releasing this on the podcast feed the first Wednesday of next month. So this isn't going to be the normal release schedule that most of the podcasts have been. So just keep that in mind. But other than that, just keep an eye out on that. I'm going to try to maybe put some tweets out for the behind the scenes to kind of remind people of that. I think if I can remember, that's what I'll do. But
all the tweets.
So let's run through an outro, and then we're going to stick around I guess we get to stick around for a live after show. With that, we'll begin to wrap the chat up. If you'd like to join us for our live streamed episodes, please be sure to give us a follow over on twitch.tv/FocusFireChat. Links to all our sites can also be found with our episode archives over on www.focusfirechat.com. Thank you again, Jake, for giving us a chance to learn about your experiences with the whole aspect of creating the amazing artwork that I know I, as well as the rest of the community, love to look at every day. I will, of course, be putting your links in our show notes for anyone who wants to check out all that you do or follow up with any other questions that they might have. Please be sure to email us at focusfirechat@gmail.com with any feedback or questions concerning the podcast, and let us know how we're doing by giving us some feedback on iTunes as well. Be sure to check out our partner podcasts within the Guardian Radio Network over on the guardiansofdestiny.com. So, until next time, focus your fire and may your light shine bright.
Did you get all your shout outs done?
Mm-hmm. All the good ones.
Okay.
I would like to thank Justin for being so good looking. Dang.
Dang.